Let's take a look now on how to determine the amount in grams if we're given an amount in moles. We're given an amount of 1.45 moles of iron 4 sulfite, and we're given 2.36 moles of potassium bromide. Now, I have written these compounds already, but note that the charge of the iron is a +4, and the charge of one of these SO3 sulfite ions is a 2-. Therefore, I need 2 of those to balance the charge on the iron. Potassium is a +1, bromide is a -1, so I don't need to do anything here. As with the previous problems, we have to figure out the molar masses of each of these compounds. Do this on your own, but you should get about 215.97 grams over 1 mole, or 1 mole over 215.97 grams. That is the 2 conversion units that I get from the molar mass. And then for potassium bromide, you should get about 119 grams per 1 mole, or 1 mole over 119 grams. Now, once again, I want to get rid of my existing unit and I want to end up with grams. So I have to pick out the correct conversion factor, the correct version of it, so that I'm left with grams and I cancel out the moles. I can't use this because then I have moles squared over gram, so I need to use this version, times 215.97 grams divided by 1 mole. My moles will cancel, and this gives me about 313 grams. Now, let's pause and think about whether this answer makes sense or not. I know that 1 mole weighs 216 grams. I have almost 1.5 moles. So if I divide this by half, it's about 108. So add this 108 to 215, and you get about that. We have a little less, okay, but approximately. That means that I have done this correctly. Sometimes if you get confused, you'd have this on the bottom and this on the top. A lot of students will do that. You get a small number because you're dividing by instead of multiplying. But always stop and think, okay, does this answer make sense? If I know that 1 mole weighs this much, I have more than 1 mole, so my answer should be larger than the 215 grams. Now let's take a look at KBr. Once again, I have to pick the correct conversion factor version. I want grams on top and moles at the bottom, so this is the one that I need. And I will do 119 grams over 1 mole. My moles will cancel, and this will give me approximately 281 grams. Once again, let's stop and think. 1 mole weighs 119 grams. I have over 2 moles, so that means the mass has to be at least double that, and it is. Note that when you try to calculate moles from, you have to calculate grams from an amount in moles, you multiply by the molar mass, 215.97 over 1 mole. In the previous slide, when we had to calculate moles from grams, you divide by that number, divide by the molar mass. This is just a review, this is how we calculate an amount in grams if we're given an amount in moles. Now let's start to talk about the problems in solution chemistry.